Today, I'm going to share with you 3 parenting practices that raise secure children. If you are a parent who has a sensitive child, maybe a neurodivergent child, maybe a strong-willed child, and you worried about their future, you see them hitting and you're like, hi, I wonder how they're going to end up being. I wonder how they're going to turn out. I want to provide the parenting that they need to raise us to be raised as secure individuals. This video is for you. My name is Marcela Collier. I am a certified parenting coach and founder of HIC Parenting Education Agency. My team of coaches and I have served 14,151 clients raise their children with peace, raise secure children through the understanding of their needs. That's our parenting with understanding methodology. We're going to talk about that on this video as well. And I am a mom, yes, who is raising twins, and one of them is autistic. So, number one thing number one practice to raise a secure child is to listen to understand. And listening to understand is not just when they're talking to you. Listen to their behaviors to understand their needs. My son was having a hard time yesterday. He was having a hard time at the park. He was building a sandcastle. And when I say he was having a hard time, he was getting into conflict with the other kids. So not listening to him could be like, Santiago, stop. If you don't stop fighting these kids, and they're going right now. So that's not understand and listening to him. Listening to him is observing his behavior and see what's the need that he's communicating through that behavior and help him. Santiago, what do you need? Why are you so frustrated with everybody around you? Oh, I need to sneeze. Oh, it went away. That's the worst. Isn't it the worst? And then he said, because I'm trying to build this sandcastle, and every time they pass by, they move the sand and it goes down. It makes sense. He was feeling frustrated. He was feeling helpless. He was feeling, what would you feel if you're building something that is important to you, and every time somebody goes by, it falls, it crumbles? It makes sense to me. So to raise a secure child, we need to observe and understand, listen to their behaviors. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck on just shutting down the behavior, and our children will feel unseen, confused, sad, shame, etc. You cannot control them, Santi. They're going to keep running circles around you. So what are you going to do to protect your own boundary? That I taught him to set boundaries. Boundaries is not telling the other to do something, is what am I going to do to honor my values, to keep myself safe, to keep the things that I'm doing safe. And then he looked at me and he was like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, I have an idea. What about if you play at the other side? I mean, there is sand everywhere. Here where you are at, that's where the other kids are playing. They're going up and down the slide. If you go at the other side, you're going to have less of a chance of a kid landing on your castle. And then he looked at me for a minute and he moved. So that's important to raise a secure child. It's so important to gain deep understanding of their needs. I dedicate in HIC parenting with our coaches, we dedicate 3 full weeks to helping our clients understand their children's needs, especially if their kids have autism, ADHD, OCD. Support needs is so important. And even if they aren't, even if they're I have another son. His twin is neurotypical and he has needs too. I'm sure if he were to do that, like to be in my autistic son's situation of the sandcastle and everybody crumbling it down when falling down the slide, he would have felt the same frustration. So it has nothing to do with neurodivergence. Number two is second practice to raising a secure child is learning co-regulation. What is co-regulation? Everybody talks about it, but nobody knows what it is. Co-regulation is not helping your children calm down. Oh, boom. Because most parents, most people think that co-regulation is the things that I do so my children stop crying, so they calm down, so they feel. No, that's not co-regulation. Co-regulation is borrowing our safety, our emotional safety to our kids so they can live their feelings in that safety independently if they calm down in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or an hour. That's co-regulation. But this is the thing, it's just so hard to get our parenting education from social media when people say so many different things. It's very important for us to understand who are we getting our parenting education from. Okay, who are we getting our parenting education from a parent that read a book, or from professionals who went to school, have the degree, etc. So that's what co-regulation is. Why does co-regulation raise a secure child? Everybody wants their children to learn to manage their emotions. Everybody wants their children to self-soothe and self-regulate. But children don't learn to self-soothe on their own. They learn to self-soothe through co-regulation, through us being with them, through it. So just leaving them in the room to calm down won't calm them down. Even if they come out with no tears, no crying, like wiping out their tears, they're not calm. They shut down to regain connection back with you. So co-regulation is borrowing our safety. But how can we borrow our safety? No, lend. How can we lend our children our safety? We don't feel safe. If we're reactive, if we are triggered, if we're yelling, if we're frustrated, we're overwhelmed. That's another big area that we work with our parents in HIC parenting with our clients. So they feel secure themselves. If you don't feel secure yourself, it's impossible to co-regulate. Parents come to us asking us, but I go to their level and I talk calmly and I tell them it's okay. Nothing works. I'm like, okay, are you talking calmly or are you really regulated? Because those are two different things. I could make myself talk calmly and still feel so overwhelmed, frustrated, at the end of my rope, about to yell. Because children read through those lines. They do. They know if we're just keeping it together. So in HIC parenting, we teach parents how to regulate. So when they have those big emotions, they still remain safe with their kids and they're not just acting calm, faking calm. That's a difference. And if you've been trying and you're like, I still need help, we have a class, it's free. In HIC Parenting, you can find it in hicparenting.com. I'm going to leave the link in the description below, or it's somewhere here, a card up here. And this class has all the information for you to break free from angry reactions, bring peace to your parenting, and raise emotionally healthy children. This is the same class that all our clients take. And if you need help on the application, then you can come and become a coaching client. But all the information is in the class. Start going through it and start feeling a lot more secure in your parenting. So, the three practices to raise secure children, so far we've talked about two: listening to understand, co-regulation, and number three, very important if you don't want to end up being a permissive parent in an attempt to break your cycle, is discipline, educating our kids. I remember I heard TD Jakes saying that he's against gentle parenting because those are the kids who are going to grow up being unruled, not following instructions, being defined with police. I don't know. I think he's talking about permissive parenting, but that's not what it is at all. Because if you are a secure parent, you discipline your kids. You children don't feel safe without boundaries. Can you imagine how scary and confusing could be for a child who can't do whatever? My children have friends who are like that. He has no boundaries. He can go anywhere he wants. The other day, I saw the mom driving in her car looking for him. Like she didn't, for sure, she knew he was not on her block, on her block, because she was driving looking for him, and he's 8. So, not to shame that parent, but it's just an example of like that's not gentle parenting. That's limitless parenting. So, if you want to raise a secure child, secure children understand what their boundaries are. I have an exercise for you. If you have your child next to you, pause this video and ask them, tell me 2 rules that we have here in our house. And if they can clearly articulate to you 2 rules, then all the balloons went up every time I do this because I'm recording with my Mac. Then you're good. I'm saying like they can see a structure in the home. But if they can't even clearly articulate what their rules are, they start fumbling like, I don't know. I guess to be nice, to listen, they have no idea. They have no idea what their limits and boundaries are. So educate our kids is teaching them better good ways to relate to one another. It's setting boundaries. It's for them to see consequences when they're due. It's for them to learn how to respect themselves, others, the environment. That's very important to raise secure children. If they don't see boundaries, or if the boundaries are bent, they're not clear, it's very confusing for a child. Very, very confusing. In one of the videos, I think it was last week. Yeah, there is a video last week where I share with you the 3 elements of an effective boundary. And this is just part of discipline, is not everything. Discipline is children learning better ways, children learning how to live in community. That's what discipline is. Building better habits. So the 3 elements, just to not leave you hanging, is a boundary provides a range of freedom instead of then what not to do. A boundary comes from a family value, and a boundary is it shows the child how a system works. It's not about them, it's not about you, it's about protecting the family dynamic and environment. So the 3 parenting practices to raise secure children are listening to understand, co-regulation, and education discipline. If you apply these 3, you are going for a fact to raise a secure child. Even if your children are neurodivergent, autistic, ADHD, they will be secure children, even with all those needs. I've seen it with my children. I've seen it with the children of all my clients. I've seen it. It is possible. If this video helped you, Share with a friend. Share it with one, only with one, with your spouse, with your mom, with your sister. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. What is one need that your child has right now? What is one need that your child has right now? Let me know in the comments. What is one need that your child has right now? If your children are not next to you, then think about the latest behaviors and let me know what is the need. I could start. For my autistic son, the latest need was the need for knowing how to set boundaries. He had a situation in the playground. He didn't know how to set boundaries. He got frustrated. So that was his need. What is your child's need? Learn to, to see those needs and listen to understand. Remember that it only takes understanding of yourself and of your children's needs to transform your parenting. See you next time.